All right, let's get right into it. We're breaking down a critical security alert called ClawJacked. Now, if your team uses OpenClaw, this is an urgent one. You're going to want to pay close attention to what you need to know, and more importantly, what you need to do, like right now.
So, what is this ClawJacked thing anyway? Well, in a nutshell, it's a really nasty vulnerability. It lets a malicious website, one you might just stumble upon, connect to and completely take over the OpenClaw agent that's running right there on your local machine.
Okay, look, before we dive any deeper, let's cut right to the chase. This is the single most important takeaway. You need to update to OpenClaw version 2026.2.26 or later. Do it immediately. If for some reason you can't patch, your only other option is to shut that agent down completely.
Okay, now that we've got that critical, time-sensitive action item out of the way, let's really unpack the details of the security alert.
So this all came to light on February 26, 2026, thanks to the security researchers over at Oasis Security. They're the ones who figured out how a website could abuse WebSockets to talk to your local host and pull off this takeover. The good news? The folks at OpenClaw jumped on it and got an emergency patch out the door super fast.
So, you're probably wondering, how on earth can just visiting a website lead to something on my own computer getting hijacked? It sounds kind of wild, right? Well, let's get into the mechanics of how this attack actually works.
The attack path is actually kind of scary in its simplicity. It's aimed right at developer machines, or maybe a CI host, that are running OpenClaw with its gateway turned on. All you, the victim, have to do is browse to a malicious website while your agent is running. That's it. The website then basically turns your own browser into a bridge to attack the gateway on your local host.
Now, what's really fascinating here is that this whole thing was possible because of two core technical flaws. First, the gateway was built on this idea of implicit loopback trust. It just assumed any connection coming from the local machine itself had to be safe. Big mistake. Second, the rate limiting was way too weak, which meant the bad guy's JavaScript running on that web page could just sit there and brute force its way past any security.
So you can really break this down into a clear four-stage attack. First up is recon. The malicious site just pokes around to see if an OpenClaw agent is even listening. If it is, boom, stage 2, connect. It opens up that WebSocket connection. Then comes the command phase, using that brute force trick we just talked about to get control and start telling the agent what to do. And finally, stage 4 is exfiltrate. The attacker starts pulling out sensitive data or kicking off automated workflows. Game over.
You know, understanding the how is one thing, but it's the so what that really makes this so critical. Let's talk about the real-world damage, the actual impact of a successful exploit. And this visual just lays out the danger perfectly. A compromised agent isn't one problem. It's like 3 massive crises happening all at once. An attacker could steal credentials, right? Getting access to any secrets the agent has. They could also compromise your CI pipeline by messing with her deployments. And as if that's not enough, they could abuse messaging tools to impersonate you and send who knows what to who knows who. It's a total trifecta of risk. Okay, we get the threat, we get the impact. Let's shift gears to the most important part. What do you need to do? Here are the immediate, actionable steps you should be taking in the next 24 hours. And just to really hammer home the urgency here, let's glance at that timeline one more time. The disclosure was on February 26th. The patch came out right after. We are squarely in the now phase, where every single user has to take action to make sure their setup is secure. Here it is, your 5-point mitigation plan. Number 1, the big one, is patch. Get on the latest version. If you absolutely positively cannot patch right this second, then number 2 is stop the agent. Just shut it down. Number 3, rotate your secrets. This is so critical. Anything that agent could touch needs to be invalidated and replaced. Number 4, audit your logs. Look for any weird activity. And number 5, if you even think you've been compromised, isolate that machine from the network. Putting out the immediate fire is crucial, for sure. But an incident like this is also a huge opportunity to think about the long game. How can we build a stronger, more resilient defense so this whole class of vulnerability becomes a non-issue? So let's just ask that question point blank. How do we stop these kinds of local gateway exploits from ever biting us again?
The answer really is all about changing our basic assumptions. At its core, the principle is to completely eliminate that implicit trust we used to have in the loopback interface. That means you need strong authentication, strict rate limits, you need to bind services to secure interfaces, and you need to require explicit user approval for things. But the real key takeaway is right there at the bottom. Treat all loopback traffic as untrusted by default. Period.
And for all you defenders out there, if you want to go threat hunting, here are the exact signals you should be looking for. You need to be querying your logs for any unexpected WebSocket connections that are targeting 127.0.0.1. And also, keep an eye out for these high-rate, really bursty authentication attempts that are coming from browser processes. Those are your red flags for this attack or one just like it. So, we'll end with a question that I think really gets to the heart of this entire lesson. Take this back to your teams. If you start treating every single local connection as untrusted by default, what does that actually change about your security posture? It feels like a simple mental shift, right? But it's a change that fundamentally hardens your defenses against a whole new generation of threats.